Are there any bad exercises that causes injury? I know there's people that say, hey, don't do this exercise, you're going to get injured. This exercise is bad for your muscles or bad for your joints, you're going to get injured. But majority of exercises people talk about, I don't think they are the cause of the injury. The cause of the injury is bad biomechanics or bad form. Like behind the neck press. A lot of people say you're going to get injured from doing it. Chances are a lot of people will, but if done correctly, it can actually make you stronger and not injured. Or behind the neck lat pull down or behind the neck pull-ups. People say you're going to get injured from doing it, and people will say if you do it correctly, you're not going to get injured. And most people don't have the flexibility or the right mobility to do it correctly. Or even ask the grass squats. When you're squatting with your hamstrings touching your calves, is it going to cause bad knees? It depends on the person itself. Some people, or many people, feel knee pains because they've never done it before. But it's usually a case of bad mobility or bad form. There's people that get injured running, or people get injured walking. It's usually done with bad form or bad footwear. I know I'm not a female, but I'll speak about this. Wearing high heels on a regular basis can cause poor hips or cause poor walking, because the human body is not meant to stand on high heels all day, or even just wearing bad shoes in general. The human body is not meant to wear bad shoes overall. Or some people who promote barefoot training, the human body is not meant to wear shoes at all. We just wear them because it protects our feet from stepping on other items, and because the floor is dirty outside our homes. And it also looks ridiculous to go barefoot when you're out in public, unless you're swimming or you're doing yoga. But if you're getting injured from doing certain exercises, it's most likely because you're doing it with the wrong form, or your biomechanics are not good. Sometimes certain lifestyles, accidents, what you wear will affect your biomechanics. That's why I talked about shoes earlier. Wearing certain shoes can affect your biomechanics to do certain exercises properly. It can affect your biomechanics for running. If you're used to sitting down all day in office and you don't condition yourself properly to handle lots of exercise, that will alter your biomechanics. I remember one time I went from getting up a bit more often to sitting down more often, and it affected my deadlift biomechanics because I didn't condition myself properly or didn't warm up well to handle the biomechanics of deadlifting properly. At the same time, it's because I did not deadlift correctly as well. I made a video earlier about what I would do for deadlifts now versus what I did when I was taught deadlifts a long time ago. So another way of saying bad biomechanics, I would say bad posture too. The way you activate your muscles, the way you stand, sit, that all adds up. If you're so used to sitting with poor posture for 10 hours a day, and then you try to lift heavy all of a sudden, and you're not conditioned to lift heavy, you're going to get injured. I've had similar experiences like this before. I remember there was a pair of safety shoes I was wearing, and it affected the way I walked, so it affected the way I was working out. Another common cause of injuries from certain exercises, or how people say they got injured from doing certain exercise, is because they have overdeveloped muscles or overused muscles. When you have overused muscles, it also means you have underused muscles too. So if your biceps and your anterior deltoid are overused from choosing the mirror muscles to work out, that means your rear delts and your triceps are underused. If your chest is overly developed from doing bench press, generally it means your back muscles are a lot weaker than your chest muscles, and therefore you can get injured long term, or you're not going to get stronger. I've seen this in the gym. Guys are working out with bad posture, and they're doing exercises that are going to promote even more bad posture, because they're not going to do exercises to correct posture, or not going to do exercises to balance out the muscles. Like guys who work in office all day and they do bench presses and bicep curls in the gym and nothing else. Now when it comes to doing behind the neck presses or behind the back lat pull down, behind the back pull-ups, I'm not going to tell you guys to do it. It is exercises you see people do it on YouTube or in movies. I do behind the neck presses myself. I don't train other people to do it. And when it comes to behind the neck pull-ups or behind the neck pull downs, I've been on it on and off. I haven't done it in a while, but I would never train anyone to do that exercise at all, myself. If you want to learn those exercises, I would recommend you look for a trainer to watch you perform the movement in person. When I got shoulder pain from experimenting with heavy rear delt work or cheating external rotator cuff work and only felt it on one shoulder, that was completely my own fault that I got injured. It doesn't mean the exercise was bad. It just meant that I didn't do something correct. It doesn't mean the exercise is bad. It just means I didn't do something correct, or there's something already wrong with my left shoulder, and that's why the pain acted up again. So in many cases, I think it's always the person who is training at fault for getting injured on certain exercises. It's not the exercise itself that causes the injury. And some of these exercises take time to work on mobility or to condition yourself properly to do the exercise properly. I didn't start doing behind the neck presses properly until I started training my neck properly, especially my neck flexors, tucking my chin in properly so that I won't jerk my head forward, pressing the weight up. Now for years, I've already trained my flexibility, my mobility in my shoulders using shoulder dislocations with a broomstick or a band. And I use common sense. I use lighter weights to condition myself, and I gradually worked it up until I realized my form was not good. Or if I was going to use bad form, it doesn't put me in an injury state.